CarolinaPrepper.com. If you're looking for quality food storage for hiking, fishing, hunting, basic survival needs, or just for everyday use, check out our food storage line at CarolinaPrepper.com. We also carry other fine quality products such as our can concealment holsters for men and women. Keeping your firearm under cover and within reach puts confidence in your hands in any situation. Our products are 100% American made. Check us out today at CarolinaPrepper.com.
And now, it's time to stand for...
Good morning, everybody. How are you? Good to see everybody. Arizona Mom, good to see you. Harold, good to see you. How is everybody on this Thursday? Alexis, hello. Seymour, Texas history lover. Digidiva. That's hard to say. How are you? Pat, good to see you. How is everybody doing on this Thursday? The day before Friday. Wonderful. Good. Good. Hey, Robin. Got some news from Texas today we can talk about. Good. I'm glad you're well. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for sharing. Hey, Kimberly. Good to see you. Hey, Robin. All right. So as you're coming in and inviting people, retweeting, hey, Marilyn, good to see you. I'm going to go ahead and read Psalm 47 to you. Oh, clap your hands, all you people. Shout to God with the voice of triumph. For the Lord Most High is awesome. He's a great king over all the earth. He will subdue the people under us and the nations under our feet. He will choose our inheritance for us, the excellence of Jacob, whom he loves. God has gone up with a shout, the Lord with the sound of a trumpet. Sing praises to God, sing praises. Sing praises to our King, sing praises. For God is the King of all the earth. Sing praises with understanding. God reigns over the nations. God sits on his holy throne. The princes of the people have gathered together. The people of the God of Abraham, for the shields of the earth belong to God. He is greatly exalted. So, amen, amen. All right. Hey, Jules. Yes, glory to God. Alexis, absolutely. Fighting the flu? Oh, no, Marion, no. Get better quickly. Can't have you sick. Praise God. Absolutely. Hey, Shauna, good to see you. He is over all the earth. Absolutely, Alexis. Absolutely. Every day, all day long. You can't be sick in Vegas. You're not allowed to be sick in Vegas. Yep, don't forget that. Absolutely. Thank you, if you will, for sharing this, inviting people in. Thank you for sharing, Shauna. So we have some information. I'm going to start out with Texas. Texas has started up its catch and release again. Hey, Chicago Pops. Oh, driving. Aw. Shauna, tell them we said hi. Texas has started its catch and release again. There are not enough beds, not enough places to keep these people. And so they're catching them and releasing them. Okay, Shauna, thank you. And so that's not a good sign coming from Texas. And while I think people understand it, there's not enough room, not enough beds for people. It's not what you want to hear. And there's been some criticism that some of the things right now under, catch and release and how things are going on. Yeah, I know, not good. Some things are going on that people are disappointed in. I guess the people who work for ICE, they're disappointed. The ICE union is accusing President Trump of betraying them by leaving Obama holdovers in place, causing tension at the agency. I know, it used to be a fishing term. I guess it can be used for everybody. Hey, Brian, good morning. Hey, Hugh, good morning. Good to see you. I don't know. I was wondering that myself. Hey, Lee, put them all on a bus and drive them across. But yeah, what ICE is happening too. I guess in Philadelphia, the ICE agents there were instructed not to wear their bulletproof vests because it might offend the residents. I mean, that's absolutely insane when and again, Those are Obama holdovers. Okay. Thanks, Shauna. I know it is nuts. It is beyond nuts. That's crazy. Yes. But, look, how many times did we see that during the riots in Ferguson and Baltimore where police were told to stand down and told to do things that police don't do? Hey, Jules. Kimberly, I've been reading a lot of the stuff and trying to get judges there. See, I don't know how Trump really does it, really. Don't see him running again. He takes his every day. I know. No audio. Maybe if you just go in and out, Brian, you'll get it. Hey, Mark. God is chasing you down with blessings. Good, Barbara. That's always good to hear. I don't know what's happening with that. Why President Trump can't get rid of those people that are holdovers. I think it's just because they would have so many openings and not enough time and not enough people to put people in. They're having problems even getting judges down there to hear the deportation hearings. So I think that's a big problem. And so they don't have enough, they haven't had enough ICE agents. They don't have enough people in HR to process people. If you get rid of them, it's going to have to go through the whole process. It's all part of the deep state plan. Pat said, yeah. I mean, it really is. If you look at that, everybody who's talking right now about Sessions wanting him to bring in a special prosecutor. Looks like the gang's all here. Yeah, some of the gang, not all the gang. But some people. Hey, Daniel, whatever happened to the Somali cop in Minnesota that shot a lady? Haven't heard a peep. Think he keeps him to start catching deep state? I have no idea, Jules. I feel things are just getting worse in our country. Marianne, I think, okay, Hugh, not a problem. It's snowing in Canada, everybody, where Hugh's at. Ugh. Hey, mighty blessed one. Our country is falling, Kimberly said. Yeah, I know. It takes a while, Barbara. For one scope to end and another one to begin. I don't know what to say. I mean, on some avenues, we're doing really well, and on some places we aren't. My dad in the 80s transported illegals by plane to Mexico. Wow. Keep the snow, Hugh. I know. Keep it there. We don't want it. The admin needs to catch them. Deep state in the act. Yep. Oh, Catherine, no problem. Nice that you can oversleep. I'm usually awakened 5,000 times during the night, so sleeping in sounds so good. Yeah, so I don't know. I think that's a big problem. What ICE is bringing up. I mean, if somebody tells you not to wear, hey Sherry, somebody tells you not to wear your bulletproof vest because it might offend the residents. I think at that point there, I would be walking out the door. Mighty Blessed One said there's great hope for our country. Mighty Blessed One, even more so if we turn back to God and quit relying on man. Could it be fake news? I don't know. I went to several different sites and saw that, Pat. So I don't really think that it is. Yeah, that's what I would say. Too bad if you're offended. I'm going to wear my bulletproof vest. I don't know why, maybe it's too thick to wear underneath the shirts. I know that the police in San Diego wear their vests underneath their shirts. So, I don't know, but that's ridiculous. And I would be filing all kinds of complaints with my union, I can tell you that. So, I would stop that right there and be asking for Congress to look into that. Open prayer. Yes. So, we'll see how that goes. And before I forget it, this is really important. There's a Democrat for Congress. His name is David Alcon. Let me make sure of that. David Alcon. He's running for Congress in New Mexico. He was arrested last week on charges that are stalking charges. Especially good and love the message, Galatians 4. I'll have to read that today, Barbara. He was allegedly sending frightening and lewd text messages and threatening text messages to a woman. He was previously convicted of stalking his ex-girlfriend in 2007. Now, that happened, and we haven't heard a peep. And I went to several outlets on that as well. The copier is back. I just moved the angle of the camera, Pat. Didn't move the copier, just moved the angle of the camera. So what do you think about that? What do you think about the fact there's a Democrat in Congress running for Congress in New Mexico that nobody's heard anything about? How can he be allowed to run? I don't know. I have no idea. Hey, Jules. I'm not sure how that is, but here we have Roy Moore on every 5 minutes all over mainstream media, and have nothing about David Alcon, nothing about Menendez. I mean, come on. That's crazy. And I think, sounds like Omar. He will fit in, Big Al said. Yeah, exactly. He'll fit in well. But don't you think that we should try to get this trending? Should we try to get things out there and get this out in the general public? I mean, this is where we fall short, I think, as conservatives. We get information and we just kind of sit on it and we don't do anything about it. So Texas History Lover says so. I thought we were draining the swamp. Me too. Congress needs to be refreshed, fire them all, and start over. Yeah, it might be a good idea. But hey, Gary, good to see you. Gary, is it snowing where you are too? So, good morning, Catherine. How are you? I'm tired of hearing about the Moore stuff. It's frustrating how Dems get away with burying this stuff. It is, Julia. And again, I think we need to also do our part. We should get it trending, Mighty Blessed One says. So what I'm going to do after the show, I'm going to put something out there about him. And let's do a hashtag. I'll figure out what the hashtag is. But, please just retweet it and use it. Good morning, Robin. Robin's running behind on everything this morning. Well, we're glad you're here, though. Periscope is glitching. Jules, you might need to go out and come back in. I mean, so, we've got to start doing something. Because if we don't, then we're not even going to be in the same ball game as the Democrats who do this on a daily basis, are good at it, have sources that continue to do their job. Thank you, Jules. But it needs to get out to the general public over and over and over again. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know how important he is. And I don't really think it matters. He's a Democrat running for Congress who's been arrested for stalking. Breaking news, Al Franken accused of kissing and groping someone. Is that true, Marianne? Or are you just kidding about that? Wow. Well, did that just come out? That's amazing. Probably, yes, on Fox right now. Oh my gosh. Well, here's the thing. Lindsey Graham came out yesterday and said, we need to out all of these people that are in Congress. What was his statement, Marianne? He denied it, right? I mean, it's what you would expect him to do. Because the Democrats always say, oh, just admit that you did something, move on. But then when it happens to them, of course, they're not going to admit it, rightfully or wrongfully. I mean, it's natural for a person to say, I didn't do it, especially if they didn't do it. Al Frankenstein, Robin says. Did everybody hear what said he didn't mean to make her feel uncomfortable? Oh, no. They say Franken is a perv now, too. Fresh Congress. Well, like I said, Lindsey Graham came out yesterday and said, let's out everybody. He was a character witness for Menendez. Oh, that's great, Jules. God, Lord. I think I agree with Lindsay on this, though, that I think that someone touched me once, but cannot remember who, slapped him silly, told my husband he handled it, Barbara said. I think that was it, I can't remember, Spear from California. Picture of him holding her breast. Oh, my gosh. And she wasn't supposed to feel uncomfortable with that? But when you have somebody that in California is coming out and saying that Congress is doing this, we have CNN who's saying that Congress is doing this and that people are being sexually harassed. You need to out those names. You need to say, "Hey, Don, good morning." You need to say who it was. Spencer, good morning, so that every other person would be protected. She's a military person, even worse. Not seeing Al Franken thing in Fox. The woman speaking yesterday should have named names. Just she's a military person. That's disgusting. I mean, it's disgusting either way, but a military person makes it even worse. That's stuff that they're accusing Joe Biden of, for God's sakes. But last night, picture of her in military clothes. Marianne said it's all happening. Talk about cleaning up the system. Wow. I know, Lee. And what's Al Franken going to do? Is Al Franken going to step down now because he did that? What's gonna happen? You know, they want Roy Moore to go hide in the corner because of the accusations against him that happened 40 years ago. When did this thing with Al Franken supposedly take place? People watched Mad Men and they were so bad. He's smiling, touching her chest. Marianne, when was this supposed to have happened? Hey, Monique, good to see you. Sex drive betrays them all. No, of course he won't step down. 2006, okay. So, you know, not 40 years ago, right? Somebody said 2009. They're going to pay her out of that fund, probably. Yeah, so this happened pretty recently, supposedly. And, okay, so what are we going to do about it? What's Al Franken going to do about it? Double standard, absolutely. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I wrote an article yesterday about Judge Moore and Senate candidate Moore and the attorney press conference that came out. I thought there were some very interesting things that came out at that press conference, including the fact that the woman with the yearbook claims that she never met him, and yet he processed her divorce. So she went before him during her divorce proceedings. Won't ever be reported on CNN. Probably not, Marianne. And so, you know, that I thought was very telling. Also, they were talking about the DA initials and how that came about and who they belonged to, and wanting the yearbook to be turned over immediately to do a handwriting analysis. I saw the fake signature. Roy would never write DA in a yearbook. Yeah. And it's interesting where the DA came from and where supposedly they're alleging that she saw that DA. Yeah, they need to turn that book over. If they don't, hey, Rhonda, that's okay. If they don't turn that over, that's not going to be a good sign. He signed her divorce papers with the words DA initials after his name. And Marianne, the DA, the initials belonged to, I think they said his name was Delbert Adams. That was his assistant, and his assistant initialed everything that he signed. Absolutely going to pray for him. And that the sixth and seventh person came out after that press conference. The sixth person claims that she was 28 years old and that she went to the law office of then, I don't know, I guess he was just his own law practice, I'm not sure, of Roy Moore. And her mother went with her because she was turning over custody of her 12-year-old son to her mother because she was going through a divorce. And she was unemployed. And she said that, you know, Roy Moore came around to the front of the desk and was so close to her she could smell his breath. Not sure what the mother thought about it, but, you know, obviously she was supposedly still in the room. Handwriting totally fake and part of cursive, part printing. Yeah, it appears that way. And also she was saying he was asking about the color of her daughter's eyes and saying, are they pretty like you? And then supposedly when she got up to leave, her mother was in front of her. Supposedly he grabbed her, hey, Lynn, by the buttocks. But this is a part that's kind of odd, saying that when she was grabbed, she was so surprised that she didn't tell her mother. I don't know about you, but after I had smacked him and, you know, knocked him down on the ground, I would have told my mother. That's just me, and I understand that. But it seems like to me the natural reaction would be to tell, if you couldn't do anything, retaliate, is to tell your mother. Because she's right there. You know, maybe you might have left the office, but you'll still say, oh, my God, guess what? Did you see what happened to me? So, you know, I just, that story doesn't hold water. The seventh person coming out, basically the gist of that story is she was 17. He was in his 30s. He came to the restaurant, said, hey, why don't we go out sometimes? I date girls your age. Because she said, you know, I'm 17. He's like, well, I date girls your age. She said no, and he walked away. Okay, tell me what the crime is there. Good people don't want to be in the D.C. swamp, so they don't run. It looks like that super life. It really is starting to be like that. We're not getting good people. It is out of control, blessed cat. I mean, they'll bring in anybody. I don't tell my mother every time I get groped, especially if I liked it, Lynn said. I don't know of time when I've been groped that I've liked it, so. Can't they be forced to turn over the yearbook? If it goes to court, Jules, they'll have to. Yeah, the swamp tries to destroy the good. And I've also, Steve Deese, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Deace. He put a copy of a cease and desist letter that came from Moore's attorney. Basically, he sent it to the Alabama Media Group and claiming that if they don't stop, there's going to be a defamation lawsuit, and there may be one anyway. And also, supposedly, that same letter was sent to the Washington Post. So, just like when they pulled Trump, none of the stories held water. Spencer said, yeah. Monique said, I was in a similar situation when I was a teenager, and the first person I told was my mother, and I told her immediately without delay, period. I think most people would. I don't know. I'm just saying. I know I would, and most people I know would do that as well. So I'm not sure why that wasn't. How's he doing in the polls? It depends, I guess, Marianne, who you look at. Some say the polls are down by 10 points. They need to make them go into the courtroom and swear and question. Yep, repeat bot. I know, I saw that, Barbara. I got rid of one, but another one's back. I would have told my mother, Robin said. I tell you, the way they worded these things when they published them about Moore, they were saying, sexual misconduct when there wasn't. I mean, again, if you're 17 and let's say, for example, you ask somebody out when you're in your 30s and you report that there's some type of sexual misconduct, you've defamed that person. If there's no sexual misconduct or sexual assault or whatever, when you're asking someone out who is of age. Hey, Susie, I'm glad you're here. Sorry that you've been sick. Hope you're better. Marianne is sick also, so join the crowd in there. Hopefully everybody will stay safe and well. Thank you, Susie. Thank you for the super hearts. Appreciate it. So, again, at this point they can come up with anything. Yes, Kat, and they showed a picture of her. I think, if I get this right, it was 6 years before she met him. Okay, so this was the 7th person. So they had this picture of this young-looking woman. I don't know if it was the 6th one or the 7th one. It was an older picture even before he even met her. So it's I guess either it was the only picture they had or to make her look really young. So I don't know which one it was. But I think people need to realize that when you're saying stuff about people, Washington Post also just reported the Franken story. When you say things about people, and you also, if you say things on the internet to defame people, if you do name calling on the internet and defame people, you can be sued for defamation. Well, okay, let's agree someone on here touched us. So I think people need to, you need to be careful about what you're saying. That's why it's so important. I see pundits all the time who like to just say, this is it, without saying this is an allegation, this is my opinion. They claim it's almost like they have some special knowledge, and here's what I'm saying. If you're wrong on that, you can be sued on that. If you're name-calling people, you can be sued on that for defamation. So it's a good practice for everybody to start using the words, these are the allegations, this is maybe who said it, this is my opinion. I ignored flirting at work, scared to engage, so I ignored. I was told to fight back next time, never ignored, Jules said. Was a case in UK where a woman got fined for comments on Twitter. Yeah, and that can happen also on Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere. Just because you're on the internet doesn't mean that the laws don't apply to you. Also, if she never saw him again after the incident, how in the world did he sign her yearbook? Also, even if he did sign her yearbook, I don't think there was anything incriminating about what was written. No, it wasn't anything incriminating about what was written other than them trying to say they knew each other. Sick of important calls coming in this time. Hey, Marlene, glad that you're here. Yeah, so, I mean, again, all of these things, all of these women coming forward, I mean, how many more people? Oh, I went into the restaurant and Roy Moore shook my hand and I felt uncomfortable. Next. I mean, that's coming, because now we're down to a woman that he supposedly asked out. She said no. He walked away. Okay. And the crime would be, still waiting for them to tell me. Yes, it seems like everyone on Twitter and all social media are PC police. Well, again, just because you're on social media doesn't mean you can say anything that you want to say about a person. Laws still apply. So, sad to say the swamp can't be drained, Jamie says. Well, I don't know that all of it can, Jamie, but I'm hoping some of it can, that we can still keep going and trying to drain the swamp. Now Al Frankenstein's turn. Yeah, Marlene? It looks like it is. And again, he knew this, right? He knew that he had committed this offense, allegedly, with a picture. It's kind of hard to say that you didn't. Now he's saying, you guys have said that he admitted that, he's sorry that he did it, or sorry he made her feel uncomfortable. So he knew that, and all the times that everybody else was speaking out against Roy Moore. Why didn't he out himself? Why didn't he say, okay, back in 2006 or whatever, this is what I did. I just want to tell you right now, I'm ashamed of what I did, blah, blah, blah. Why didn't he do that? Okay, Hugh, thank you. See you tomorrow. Have a great day. Stay out of the snow. Stay warm. Well, I'm not PC and never will be. Try and be polite. That's all except what Hillary is concerned. Yeah. So, these people who are sitting there and throwing stones at Roy Moore and other people, why don't you get out there and out yourself? If you've done something wrong and you have sexually harassed, anything else, not even sexually harassed, but if you've harassed others in the workplace. She was asleep when he touched her, you're saying, Sherry? Wow. They're living in glass houses, that's right. And they're hoping that they won't be caught. Wow. Been suspended twice on Twitter for being opinionated towards liberals who insult POTUS. I'm telling you, Susie, it's getting bad out there. CYA, have a great day, Tom. Isn't Al a Democrat? Oh, he sure is. As Democrat as they come, yes. So, I would suspect on a plane coming back from OSU tour, well, tell everybody on the plane, Sherry, that we said hello. That would drain the swamp. Another bot. So, again, most of this stuff, and I know that people don't like it again, but, the age of consent in Alabama is 16. It still is to this day. So if you're offended that a 30-year-old man wants to date a 17-year-old, you can be offended, but there's nothing illegal about that. No, Franken was on the plane, supposedly, when he did that. Cerno was thinking about Twitter police late last night. No, yeah. Yeah, I guess some people had, or one person I know, had their verification check mark taken away from them, and they weren't happy about it. Leanne Tweeden, KABC anchor, that's who the person is, Mighty Blessed One. He was on a military plane. Well, how nice. Who would do that? You don't use curse words, you're a Christian, but call them out on their hypocrisy. Yeah, well, you gotta say the truth. But think about this. Who in their right minds would touch somebody inappropriately on a plane or anywhere else while they were sleeping or awake? Who would do that and think that it's okay to do it and you can get away with doing that? Who would do that? You can't be a thinking person. Hey, Shauna. Shauna's on her trip back, I take it. You can't be a thinking person and do that. It makes no sense. Yeah, perfect. Well, yeah. And so there again, I say, these people, why don't you come clean now? I'm with Lindsey Graham on this one. You need to, all these people need to be outed. Every one of them. Sad people who hope they will get away with it. I know, Lee. Even the thoughts of contemplating doing something like that, my mind won't even go there. It's so illegal, disgusting, weird. I don't know. Oh, still on your way to the airport. Okay. Don said he's offended by by Menendez hopping on private jets for sexual tourism. Don't touch my coffee, Jamie said. Al assaulted a female service member while she was sleeping and in transit on a military flight in front of her, the male troops. They should have knocked him out. I mean, if those allegations are true, and if he's saying that's what he did, then I cannot believe that somebody didn't pick him up by the scruff of the shirt and take him and arrest him. That's assault and battery right there. She should have pressed charges. Don't know why she didn't, but if I were her, I would have pressed charges. Hubby driving, he's flying to New York to hunt. Oh, wow. Romans has a verse, given over to a depraved mind. Isn't that just so true? Yeah. They'll always say they're sorry. And Marianne, the thing of it is, he'll want this just to go away. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Now let's get back to Roy Moore. That's exactly where that'll go. And if you guys could right now, if you would please retweet this and share, I would appreciate it. Shauna, news is coming out that he allegedly touched a military female in the chest area while she was sleeping on a military plane. Those are the allegations. InfoWars has a picture of it. They're sorry if they get caught like the UCLA basketball players. Yeah, I was glad to see at least that those players came out and said thank you after they were kind of feeling obligated to. Sunlight was just coming in. Who did the touching? Rhonda, they're saying Al Franken. Susie's saying Bob Menendez hired hookers in Peru. Was it Peru? I'm sorry. No, not military. She's an actress on the USO tour with Franken. Okay. Now, Spencer's saying she was a military service person. So I don't know. I haven't seen the news. So she was either a service person or not a service person. So I have no idea. So once I get off and I can actually go and look at all of it, I'm going to go and find out exactly who said what and what Al Franken is saying. But again, until somebody admits it or there's a trial or whatever, it's all allegations. Photo is posted, Jules said. She was in military clothes. Okay. They're showing picture of Franken touching her vest on Fox. Okay. Sherry was saying she was not. No, she had a vest on. Breitbart has the story. Okay. I know. Shauna said Franken can only get attention if they're sleeping. Robin said she saw the picture. Did anybody here who saw the picture, did it look inappropriate to you? And do you think he was being inappropriate? Was it an accident? Was it for real? Her name is Leanne Tweeden. Okay. Yes, because she was sleeping. Well, hey, Teresa, anytime you touch somebody without their permission, it's a battery. And it's assault and battery in most states. Person in here called poop. Well. So, I mean, you need to keep your hands off of people, whether it's, you think it's funny or if it's your, whatever the case may be, keep your hands off people. I mean, he has her hands on both boobs. Okay, well, if that's the case, it's going to be hard to say that it was not inappropriate, but yeah, I mean, Robin made a point. It's not only illegal to touch somebody without their permission in most states, but it's immoral as well. So, even if you don't follow the law, you may want to look at your morals. What's going on, really? Pat, I think as we've said before, that evil is getting exposed. Superlife was saying it just looked like it was close and not really touching. So, again, I haven't seen any of the pictures. I don't know. And I would want to make sure that the picture's not photo cropped. I'm embarrassed to say I don't know Al Franken. Oh, well, don't be embarrassed. Be glad, be happy that you don't. Al used to be a comedian, and then he ran for Congress. He needs to resign, or is evil getting stronger? Pat, both, I think. Do you think that Podesta will ever get arrested? I would think that Tony Podesta, for sure, will be investigated, but I don't know. I mean, we've heard so many allegations about what's coming and about all of these indictments. I'll see it I'll believe it when I see it. I would think that they would be looking into John Podesta because of the fact that, he was in the same company as Tony Podesta, and they were both kind of involved with Manafort. Where that will go, will that lead to anything connected to, pedophilia? Again, they've denied any aspect of that pedophilia. Pizzagate, you can't, again, you can't claim somebody as a pedophile without having it be factual, because if you do that, it's defamation. The victim had her flak jacket on, and Al did it to be funny. I believe there was nothing funny about it. Yeah. Did he even know her, Spencer? That would be my next question. Did he even know who she was? But don't, I say about this, don't worry about it, because the Democrats are going to give him a pass no matter what. So, hey, Gisette, how are you? They will just say, oh, Al was just being funny, Al. Anybody else did it, it wouldn't be funny, and it wouldn't be excused, especially if you're a conservative. Yes, they did a routine together for USA. There you go. LA, they'll probably just say it was just a part of a comedy routine, and they'll let it go. It won't amount to anything. He said he's sorry, so that's enough. Yep, that's it. And now he can go back and start insulting the president again, and it'll be perfectly fine. Absolutely, they will, just like Creepy Joe. Oh my gosh. I watched that video yesterday of Joe Biden. Oh my gosh. I can't watch it. Are you aware of David Seaman reporting on Comet Pizza for a few years? No. No, again, you can report on stuff, but you better be right about it. Or you better say that these are just allegations. I don't know if David, what he's reporting. Hey, Lori. So, Joe Biden makes my skin crawl. Yes. Yes. I watched that in real time with Biden. He is disgusting. Marlene, I wouldn't let my child be anywhere near him. Lee said that made me squirm. Not nice at all. I know. I mean, you watch that and you're like, really? And even with the adult women, he puts his hands on their shoulders and over and into their ears, and it's just like, oh my gosh. It reminds me of see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Yeah, Pat, I know. Ugh. But you know a lot of that has to be going on, and these people that came out to CNN supposedly, that they came forward and said this is what 50 plus people have come to us and said that it was that they're being sexually harassed on the job. Oh, really? LA is saying that New York Times asked Twitter and Facebook to stop showing the Biden videos. Why is that? Aren't they official videos? I mean, they're not photoshopped. These are official videos. Trolls seem like they're making dumb reports. We are onto you fools, Barbara said. I looked at that about Sessions slapping the hand away from his granddaughter. And, I can't tell if that's really what happened or not, because it looked like Sessions was like trying to move her hair down or something like that. And Joe kind of put his hand up there, and Sessions was continuing on doing that with her hair. I'm not exactly sure that shows him slapping Joe's hand away. I'm not convinced of that. Yeah, he was fixing her hair. That's what I thought, LA. Yeah. Because I looked at it and looked closely at it, looked several times, and I did not see him smacking her hand away. Yeah, I agree with you. Is it Bound or Bow? Everyone who knows Biden is doing that is complicit. People, I'm telling you, they should come out. They had a slush fund set up in Congress to pay a whopping $15 million for silence, Lori said. Yeah, Lynn, thanks. But, I mean, how... yeah, our hard-earned money. They are public. Biden touches lots of kids' hair and says too much, and their ears gross. I, I agree with that. I mean, I've watched all of the films, and again, he's not trying to hide it. He does it in public, and they're filming it at a press conference. I mean, he knows that. Just like Joe Biden was just being his touchy-feely self, Biden makes me sick, can never keep his hands off women and children, Spencer said. Like the T-shirt. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's my LA Kings T-shirt. Hey, Rob, good to see you. Yeah. So, I mean, if Twitter or Facebook wants to ban those videos of Joe Biden, I would have a problem with that. Because those are public record. Hey, Rob, good to see you. Thanks for the flowers, Robert. Is there some compilation video of Biden where, Rhonda, you just have to go out and look for it. The videos are all over the place. And go back. I mean, just put in the search Biden video and you'll find everything. I mean, again, it's all been on TV. It's been public. He's made almost every woman around him feel uncomfortable. So, I mean, it's the craziest thing you've ever seen. Biden only gropes because no one will say anything against him. Well, that's true, Susie, and powerful position. Biden's whistleblower says they had to cancel a Christmas party. Yep, that was what I talked about yesterday. A Secret Service person said they had to cancel the VP Christmas party because he was groping their girlfriends and their wives. Okay, Julia said there are threads on Twitter with all of them in one place. So just put in hashtag Biden probably. Robin said Biden really creeps me out. Power, yep. Do you think he will really run for POTUS? Pat, with ego like he has, that's quite possible. And remember that Donna Brazile had even thought about putting Biden in Hillary's place when Hillary collapsed. Remember that? I mean, really? Oh, my gosh. Let's see some other news really quickly here. I don't know if you saw the video of the woman in Maryland. She was leaning in, stocks way, way up. Susan, breaking records. Way to go, Robert. I love to hear it. Yeah, I saw a report that came out yesterday, the Business Insider, that was talking about how they were afraid the stock market might crash again because there were signs that they saw right before two stock market crashes. Let's hope that's not true. So a UN diplomat from Australia was in his apartment in New York. He was playing the trust game, and he fell backwards, and a friend of his tried to catch him like he was supposed to, but I guess he fell. In doing so, didn't do it, and the UN diplomat from Australia fell to his death. Biden thinks his unwanted touching is somehow all right because the left has validated it. It is not all right, and the left has no business validating it, Spencer said. And that guy from the UN was a very young guy. He was like in his 20s, and so he lost his life playing the trust game. Yesterday, Twitter was all a Twitter, making fun of President Trump because of his water. Drinking water. I know, Rob. He, as you saw, he was trying to open up the water, and somehow that was funny for people. I don't know. And even Marco Rubio got into it and, was critiquing it. I know, he was, I mean, come on. And somebody was saying, wow, doesn't he ever open up his bottles of water? I have to tell you, people that have a lot of money, a lot of times they don't open their own bottles of water. Somebody else does it. You have trouble. I know. It's just so ridiculous. And they just needed just something to do. I mean, come on. Trust game, more a matter of grip than trust. I know, Chris. And, and if you're going to play the trust game, I guess my advice is don't stand so close to a balcony. That's all. Yeah, did the Rubio. Yeah, Rubio just made a kind of a joke out of it. Can we really expect this guy to go through this for another 4 years? Pat, I think he might. I really do. It was sort of funny having trouble opening milk, Barbara said. So the woman in Maryland, she I don't know if you saw this video. It's pretty amazing. This woman came through the drive-through window at McDonald's in Maryland, supposedly, and she grabbed a cup to get herself something to drink. And then once she got something to drink, she went about stealing the food, and then they claim she also stole the cash before leaving. I mean, my gosh. And it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Who does this? Yeah, Robert, we talked about Al Franken a few minutes ago. He's like a Teflon man. I'm telling you, I want to know how many people that you know, including yourself if you are, that are 71 years old and can go 11 days almost straight, going to how many different countries, and then come back and start to work the next day, and there's no jet lag showing. I mean, who does that? Sad things that people are defending Joe Biden. Well, of course. You did it too? I mean, come on. I know people that can fly from the East Coast to the West Coast, and they're tired for 2 days. He looks thinner. Oh, thank you for saying that, Barbara, because Leahy thought he was going to be just so funny. After President Trump was saying something about exercise and all that, he wasn't necessarily in favor of all of it. It's kind of up to the individual. Senator Leahy fat-shamed President Trump, comparing photos of Trump and former President Obama side by side. And he did that after he put underneath it Obamacare versus Trump care. Because, of course, at 71, you look a little bit thicker around the waist than Obama did. So that was his little fat shaming. Yeah, exactly, Jules. I guess, he thought that was funny and professional, so there you go. Over $300 billion in trade deals in one trip. Amazing. I know, Spencer. Trump looked rough getting off the helicopter, messed up his salute. Well, Don, he got back late, and if that's the only thing he did, I'm fine with that. He is in a league with Rosie O'Donnell, Julia. I agree with that. No burgers in China. And also, all they had was CNN, poor guy. So, he was exhausted. I mean, you'd be exhausted at 30, much less 71. Yeah, it's not okay to make fun of how someone looks. Exactly. People should remember when they're doing that and talking about somebody's looks, that could be your mother, your brother, your sister. People don't go that far. They don't try to empathize with anyone. I know. Well, Jules, Don is ex-military, so I guess he saw that more than anybody else. That's why he was saying that. Had a fitness coach say once, after 60 men get guts, women get butts. I got blocked for telling a guy his dog was overweight. No, Wayne. It can even be yourself a few years later, Teresa said. Yep, judge not, least you be judged, Pat said, right? Yeah, I think people who do that, they don't have a very good, maybe an inferiority complex of their own. They don't feel good about themselves, so they name call others, or they put others down. Hey, Hassan, good to see you. Let's see some more information here. The California mass shooter, remember the guy from Red Bluff that killed all of those people the other day, and just, before he was killed about 4 people, injured around 10 others or so, tried to get into the elementary school. One kid there was injured. Well, they found his wife buried beneath the floor. So he killed her, buried her beneath the floor before he went out to kill the other people. And apparently he was just, people said he had this evil look in his eye and everything else. And the principal came out and talked yesterday and said that they were so glad that more people didn't get killed, that the teachers were just amazing. Hey, Mike, good to see you. Yes, he was loony. Now he's evil. Yeah. Trump has business mojo. Obama had $4.5 trillion in QE funds. is it? I can't even see that. Or OE funds to leverage jobs back to the U.S. Instead, Obama just told everyone that jobs were never coming back. Yeah, well. And what did he do with the money? So let's see. And France has decided that they're going to pick up. Remember when we said we're not going to do climate change and we used to pay money for that? Well, the France has decided that they're going to go ahead and pick up the amount that the United States is not going to pay. So, vive la France, you know. Also, I don't know if you remember me telling you, triggered and more will be triggered. Yeah, good for France. Yes, like, whatever, France. He called his mother saying he was going to snap. Great. I didn't hear that, Jamie, but that's not surprising. And the mom didn't try to stop him. Global warming is a Ponzi scheme. Absolutely. Let's see. Remember I told you yesterday that the Army was considering allowing people into the Army who were mentally ill, people who were self-mutilators with bipolar disorder, depression, alcohol abuse. Remember that? Does anybody remember that from yesterday? Yeah. Anyone want to buy a house with loose floor? Wayne. Yeah. So anyway, word spread about it, and they have reversed it. Yes. Thank God. And it doesn't mean that they won't come back with it, but I think too many people found out about it and they couldn't go forward with it. I know, hallelujah. It's okay, Wayne. Why not round up the gangs of Chicago and send them to the military? Barbara, you know, with the Marine Corps, the way the Marine Corps used to be, that would be a good place for them to go. I'm not sure now that the Marine Corps can even do that and bring somebody around because they're not allowed to do what they used to do in the Marine Corps. You know, in boot camp and things of that nature. Jamie thinks they need the recruitment. Yeah. But, you know, that was one of the things that Obama, I think, was allowing in gang members into the military. And, again, if you're going into some place like the old Marine Corps that used to turn a person around, that's different. But if you're not allowed to, you know, talk to them like you used to, beat the crap out of you. Yeah, Mike, that's kind of like the Marine Corps boot camp used to be that way. I've been to Parris Island, and I've seen what they do in Parris Island from years ago. And I've seen people when it was like 100-degree heat practically, and the recruits just falling like flies out on the tarmac because they were made to stand there. So, and you know, if you're going to go in and you're going to be tough and you're going to go out and protect people, I think you'd have to toughen up. So people who value being whole do not want to serve a government who refuses to tend life-shattering injuries in service to an ungrateful government, Spencer said. Boy, Spencer, that was a mouthful. What do you have here? A comedian private joker? I have no idea. You mean Wayne, or who are you talking about? When Wayne was joking, I have no idea. Knew someone in the Army got third-degree sunburn, was punished for harming government property. Whoa, Catherine. Yeah, I mean, you know, the training that they used to go through, Full Metal Jacket, in Parris Island, man, I mean, it was really, really tough, especially during Vietnam. Oh, the movie. Jokes are good. Yes. Not Wayne. Lighten up, Francis. Hey, Debbie. Too much sadness. I know, you gotta have a sense of humor. I love that line. What was it in Meatballs? Lighten up, Francis. That was great. Ah. Thanks for the super hearts, Barbara. Oh, with Stripes. You're right. God, that was a great movie. Yes, you can be court-martialed for keeping yourself in proper condition, not, Spencer said. Let's see. Some other stuff. My gosh, there's so much of it. The United States, remember we used to pay about 28% for the UN to do mission trips? Well, we're cutting that down, or peacekeeping trips, we're cutting that down to 3%. A weak military means a weak nation. Pat, absolutely. And I think that President Trump understands that very well. Praise God for that, Susan. It would be like arming our military with psych patients on cocktails or who knows what and expecting them to defend our homeland security in a massive state of confusion, Monique said. Yeah, I'm glad the Army reversed that decision. I think probably the person who put out that memo probably didn't have the authority to do it. I think there's a person, the last name of Snow in the Army. He's the one that can make that decision. And who knows if he did. Shave your head, get sunburned, uncovered, go to clinic. It's on the rug. You go. Don said. You should go. You should see Stripes. It's hilarious. They need to change their ADVAP test. Spencer said sunburns can keep you off your duty rotation if they are bad enough. You can be court-martialed for burning yourself up in the sun. The UN is a bunch of communists. Throw them out of here. I know, bless Cat. Get them out of New York. I thought we were going to do that. Let's get them out of here. What's it rated? I would imagine R. I don't know, but I guess R. I mean, it's an older movie so long ago. I don't remember. Is it R? Okay. And it's probably because they cuss in there. I haven't seen it in so long. How old is that movie? Was it the 70s or it was probably the 80s, right? The spatula scene is classic. There were so many things in there. They're just so funny. I don't think that, late 70s. Okay. They just don't make good movies anymore. I mean, seriously, they had some good actors and some funny stuff. The UN stands for the United Nothing. Yep. I tell you, the funniest movie that you ever want to see is called Bridesmaids. If you haven't seen that movie, and it's not, I know people say it's a chick flick. You know, they wonder, is it a chick flick? Because it's about, you know, of course, a bride getting married and all the bridesmaids. But that movie is so funny. You will be laughing from the beginning to the end. It's hilarious. And I don't know, it's probably rated PG. It might be rated R. I'm not sure. Oh, June 81. That Bridesmaids is hilarious. Stripes on Encore tomorrow? Wow, now that's perfect timing. I had watched Bridesmaid one night by myself, and then my husband came and I said, you've got to watch this movie. And he's like, I don't know. It sounds like a, you know, again, he was thinking chick flick. He was rolling on the floor. That's the fact, Jack. Yes. Oh my gosh. Bridesmaids, hilarious. And Marlene, I've seen that movie, I guess, I don't know, 5 times, and I laugh every single time. One of my favorite parts is when she's on the airplane going to Las Vegas and what she says to that guy. Melissa McCarthy was amazing in that movie. She was hilarious. I don't know. There was no bad person in there. Everybody had a great part. Everybody did a great job. And it was, I mean, literally from beginning to end, you're just laughing the whole time. The wedding dress. That was bad, Marley. Oh my gosh. But see, we need more movies like that. We don't have movies like that anymore. We really don't. They throw something together, you know, put a couple of sex scenes in there and call it a movie. And it's like, no, that's not entertainment. That's just kind of like, you know, eh. Let's see. We are almost out of time. Anybody have any topic you want to talk about really quickly? I could say more, but you know what the hey. We laugh at the Three Amigos. That's funny. Actually, it was before Melissa got so vulgar. Exactly, Marlene. It was. I think it was before she was really well known. No, way too much violence, and they preach gun control to us. Yeah, and there is a bipartisan bill that's going to come forward about gun control. They're thinking it's going to be out today. And basically, what it's going to do, they want to make a law to put more information into that national database, and also to make it where the federal agencies have to do their part in getting the information in the database. The original MASH movie was good, Jamie said. I mean, there are some good movies out there, but you really have to look for them. The Thor movie was really good. I'll have to see that. I didn't see that one. You know, I appreciate more and more comedies these days. Great scope. Thank you, Lee. You have a great day too. Everybody have a great day. Great program, Susan. Gary says. Thank you. Thank you, Robin. Thanks, everybody. If you would please, would everyone please retweet this? I would really appreciate it. Pink Panther was great. Love the Pink Panther. Here's a movie review of Stripes on YouTube. It's a good movie. Funny, funny. And so don't rule out Bridesmaids. You'll love it. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. God bless. Take care. Everybody on YouTube, thank you so much for coming. God bless you. We'll see you again tomorrow.